Kiao, let's break up. I pushed a bank card across the table, my voice carrying the carefully rehearsed weariness and arrogance. Your money, your status, I'm tired of it all. The man across from me, the once-in-a-century scientific prodigy of a university, simply looked at me. He didn't touch the card. Instead, he raised his hand and tapped the monitoring bracelet on his wrist. The screen lit up with a string of numbers. He smiled, his voice clear and affectionate. Kiao Kiao, when you lie, your heart rate spikes to 108. Now it's 109. Cold sweat instantly broke out on my back. The plot was ahead of schedule. He wasn't supposed to turn like this now. I had transmigrated into this obsessive sweet romance novel as Shen Qiao, the cannon fodder ex-girlfriend of the male lead, Qiao. In the original story, Shen Qiao thought Qiao was a socially inept science nerd. On the eve of his rise to fame, she publicly cheated on him with a wealthy second-gen heir, trampling his dignity underfoot. Later, when Qiao became a scientific titan with immense power, the first person he destroyed was Shen Qiao. And her fate was brutal. After transmigrating, all I wanted was to break up quietly and save my own skin. Following the original character's gold digger persona, I chose today the day he received a massive research bonus. To break up with him. Perfect timing. Perfect lines. But why was his reaction completely different from the silent, humiliated man in the book? Not talking. Ko Yao's fingertips tapped rhythmically on the table. Thinking of your next excuse? I forced out a contemptuous smile. Excuse? Yo, you don't really think I ever loved you, do you? I was just betting on your potential. Now I found something better. That's all. He didn't say anything. He just stood up. At 188 centimeters, his presence was overwhelmingly oppressive. His shadow engulfing me. I tried to step back, but he blocked my chair with his leg. A soft click. The laboratory door locked remotely. I was trapped. He leaned down, placing his hands on the armrests of my chair. Trapping me. The air carried a faint smell of disinfectant. Break up. He laughed softly, his warm breath brushing against my ear. Did I agree? Shen Qiao, your enrollment qualification. Your apartment. Every cent in your bank account, even the clothes you're wearing today, I bought them all. What do you have? To break up with me. I straightened my back, putting on a look of disdain. So what? You gave me all that so I'd stay with you, didn't you? Now I don't want it anymore. We're done? Fair and square. Not fair, he murmured. He returned to his seat and opened his laptop. The printer slowly produced a single sheet of paper titled Breakup Application and Asset Divestiture Agreement. The terms. First, the applicant voluntarily relinquishes all tangible and intangible assets provided by Qiao. Second, a 3-month cooling-off period during which the applicant is required to continue fulfilling girlfriend duties, including daily itinerary reports, 3 shared meals per week, and participation in a research study on the effect of intimate relationships on dopamine levels. I was furious. This wasn't a breakup agreement, it was an indenture. When I refused, my phone buzzed with a bank alert. 5 million yuan had been transferred out. Balance 0.01 yuan. Then came a call from my apartment manager. My lease was terminated, and I had to vacate by 6. And the sound of my car key decataving. My face went pale. A book said he was obsessive. It didn't say he was this efficient. He'd picked up the pen. I signed. The days that followed were a life of scientific surveillance. I wore a monitoring bracelet just like his 24/7 location tracking and health monitoring. 3 times a day, my heart rate and cortisol levels were streamed to his computer. Any abnormal fluctuation, and his call would come within 3 minutes. My plan and escape. My best friend Zhang Xiaotao's live-stream store tour was at a large mall, crowded and chaotic. The perfect opportunity. I dressed carefully, choosing pants for mobility. When Qi arrived to pick me up, he pulled a delicate box from the back seat. Inside was an intricate pale purple gown, ethereal, elegant, and utterly impractical for running. Your heart rate says you're lying again, he said, leaning over to unbuckle my seatbelt. Go change into it. Be good. I was wearing that dress when I stepped out of his car. I saw the flash of desire in his eyes. He took my hand. During the live stream, I excused myself to the restroom, slipped out another exit, and ran toward the back door in my long dress and heels. The wealthy second-gen heir's red Ferrari was already waiting. I was almost there when a hand shot out and caught my wrist. Hey, ow. I didn't know when he'd arrived. 5 minutes are up, he said, checking his bracelet. You're 10 seconds late. His grip was tight, painful. The Ferrari just sat there. The driver had no intention of getting involved. Kiao pulled me against his chest. She whispered, don't make a scene. People are filming us. Not far away, Jiang Xiaotao is pointing her phone at us. Her live stream. Comments exploded. No, not making a scene, Kiao said. Loud enough for the microphone to pick up. I'm winning back my angry fiancé. He kissed my forehead. Kiao, stop being mad. Come home with me, all right? With hundreds of thousands of viewers watching. I nodded stiffly. A carefully orchestrated escape turned into a massive public display of couple goals. In the car, the gentle persona disappeared. He drove in freezing silence not to our apartment, but to a secluded hillside villa. High walls, private security, a gilded cage. He carried me inside. The door slammed shut. Shenkiao, he said. His voice flat, having fun, playing me like a fool. Who was that man? I said he was a friend. He laughed coldly. A friend you needed to run away to? His eyes were knives. I was terrified. Tears fell. He knelt and wiped them away gently, but his gaze never softened. Kiao, this is our home now. You're not going anywhere. I was confined. No phone except one that could only call him. I tried to resist. I refused to eat. He fasted with me day after day, until I gave in. Then the internet exploded. Someone exposed Qi Yao's identity, head of a national keel laboratory. A top young scientist. The public turned on me. A post titled "Digging Up the Gold Digger Behind the Myth of Scientific Prodigy Qi Yao" made me out to be a nuisance who was derailing national research. In the original story, this was how Shen Qiao was bullied into depression. She jumped. That night, Qi Yao came home exhausted. I'll handle the online mess, he said. I asked if he regretted it, taking all the blame for me. He looked at me for a long time. I never regret anything I do. I only regret not locking you up sooner. The next day, I had the housekeeper film a short video. No makeup, simple clothes. I'm Shen Qiao, that gold digger you've been reading about. Everyone thinks this is a dramatic romance. Actually, I've been kidnapped. Can someone call the police? I gave the villa's address. 30 minutes later, the hashtag "scientist kidnaps girlfriend" exploded. The public outrage flipped. I waited for Qi Yao's anger. At worst, they tightened security. In the afternoon, the villa gates opened not for Qi Yao but for a group of police officers. I was the one who'd called. Qi Yao arrived shortly after, looking travel-worn but composed. He knelt, held my cold hands and said, "Don't be afraid." Then he handed the officers a document. My mental health diagnosis report, severe emotional dependence and delusional disorder, signed by a panel of top psychiatrists. My fiancé has been emotionally unstable, he said with convincing sorrow. She thinks I'm going to hurt her. I brought her here only to keep her away from online harassment and let her rest. His acting was Oscar-worthy. The officers believed him. It was far easier to believe the delusional girlfriend story than the genius scientist is a kidnapper one. My grand escape attempt ended a lover's misunderstanding. After the police left, the villa fell silent. Qi Yao looked at me. Do you have to do this, Kiao? I smiled for the first time, unafraid. Qi Yao. Aren't you tired? You can't keep me locked up forever. You're a scientist. You belong to your country, not to me. You're destroying yourself. He flinched. For someone who doesn't love you. I asked, is it worth it? He stared at me, eyes red. Are you sure? You don't love me. I froze. He stepped closer. 3 years, Kiao Kiao. Every night you talked in your sleep, and you said my name. Look me in the eye and tell me you feel nothing. Did I feel nothing? How could I? He made me water when I had cramps. He drove 30 kilometers at midnight to buy the cake I casually mentioned. He remembered every small preference I'd ever let slip. The Kiao in the book was cold, obsessive, incapable of love. But the man in front of me, his love burned like molten lava. I was just too afraid to admit it. He reached for my face. I flinched back like a frightened rabbit. His hand hovered in the air, then he lowered it and laughed bitterly. I understand. I'll let you go. He opened the door. Sunlight poured in. But Kiao Kiao, promise me take care of yourself. And don't let me find you again. The door closed. The world was silent. I was free. So, why did it hurt so much? I left. He didn't come after me. My accounts were restored. I moved in with Zhang Xiaotao. I numbed myself with dramas and comfort food. But I wasn't happy. I dreamed of that last lonely back of his. Xiaotao couldn't take it anymore. You're in love with him, aren't you? And do you know what he did after he let you go? He donated all his patents and the rights to the Sirius system to the state. And then he went to teach in the mountains. Alone. I drove for 2 days straight. In a remote town, people told me about the beautiful teacher at the rundown primary school. He was tall, handsome, and completely out of place. I parked in front of the crumbling adobe building. There he was, white shirt, standing among dusty-faced children, teaching them to read. He'd lost weight, but his face, once cold, now held a quiet warmth. He saw me. He froze. I walked toward him, tears streaming. Keyao, I transmigrated into this world. I'm not from here. The reason I kept trying to leave you is that in my world, you're the main character of a novel. And I'm your kin fodder excurtling with a horrible ending. I was afraid. Afraid of the plot. Afraid I'd drag you down, afraid I'd die. He listened without interrupting. Then, after a long silence, he smiled a smile I'd never seen before. Relieved. So that's it. He stepped forward and pulled me into his arms. I already knew. From the very first day you appeared in my world, I had extra chapters in my head. They told me I would fall for someone else, that I would turn dark because of your betrayal. But, Kiao Kiao, from the moment my heart started racing for you, I knew that plot was a joke. I've always loved only you. Not some cannon fodder, not some pre-written character. Only you. The mountain wind blew between us. The children stared, their eyes clear as stars. All my fear dissolved. He, too, had been haunted by the plot. We'd both been fighting fate in our own clumsy ways. So, why did you let me go? I asked. I was afraid. His voice soft. Afraid I'd really hurt you. I gave everything away and came here to find out if I stripped away all that I had, what would be left. Now I know. What's left is my love for you. I stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. The children cheered. Under the blue sky and green mountains, we finally told each other everything. I stayed. I became the second teacher at that school, leading singing and drawing classes. We lived in a cramped dormitory, ate simple meals, and felt a happiness we'd never known. We were no longer characters in a book. We were just Kiao and Shan Kiao. At a university's anniversary ceremony, Kiao was invited as a distinguished alumnus. On stage, he didn't speak about research. He told a story, the story of a star and the lost traveler. Once, I thought my world held only data and formulas, until I found a star. My star. She's bright, passionate, and occasional a little rebellious. He looked down at me. I used the wrong methods to keep her close. But then I understood love isn't about locking someone up. It's about setting her free to become brighter. More herself. He walked toward me, knelt, and pulled out a velvet box. Inside, a brilliant diamond ring. Shunkiao, the story has been rewritten. Will you be the only leading lady in my life? I was crying too hard to speak. I nodded. He put the ring on my finger. The applause thundered around us. So you see, I didn't transmigrate into this book to escape. I came here to find him. To find Qi Yao, who would give up the whole world for me and build me a new one.